One's home is the museum of one's life, my mother says, gesturing protectively with her gnarled, arthritic fingers at the assorted collectibles in her cramped living room. She is seated on a red velvet armchair, and at her feet, my 3-year-old daughter is playing with my childhood Barbies. I move to an end table and begin dusting. No, you'll go too fast. Everything is out of place. My mother struggles to stand. She pushes me aside, and she firmly places a miniature ceramic Mount Vernon, a carved gator from Okefenokee Swamp, and a tin jazz musician from New Orleans, and an exact and inexplicable pattern on the end table. I am 44 at this time. I have never before dusted my mother's house, the house I grew up in outside Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. As an only child, I never did anything for my mother. Never asked. I seldom offered, except a few times, like 12 years before this after my father died, but she refused my help. This week, she asked me to dust, to polish her silver, to do laundry, to make beds, to make meals, to purchase and put up a fresh pine Christmas tree in her living room. My daughter, suddenly bored with the Barbies, says, Mommy, talk to me. Library voice, my mother says, Mommy. My daughter starts jumping up and down, and the knickknacks rattle and the figurines wobble, and my mother says, perhaps a video? A video! My daughter shrieks because at home I seldom let her watch videos. But of course, yes, I pop a video into the VCR as we did back then, and my daughter collapses on the floor helplessly, spellbound by a singing blue dog. I manage to tidy up the living room, and I say to my mother, okay, what's next? Well, the Christmas tree. Okay, where's the stuff? It's in the basement. I'll have to show you. No, you are not going down those steps. They are steep and slippery, and with your arthritis, you could... Everyone says how wonderful your daughter and granddaughter are coming to visit for Christmas. It isn't wonderful at all. Okay. I go down to the basement, and I do find those Christmas lights, and I find the boxes of ornaments, and I haul everything upstairs. And by this time, my mother is standing in the kitchen next to a big pot of liquid paraffin. She dips her fingers into the hot wax, a folk remedy for arthritis, she has told me. Out in the living room, I plug in the Christmas lights, and standing on a chair, I begin arranging a string of tiny white bulbs on the Christmas tree. My mother enters the living room, her hands covered in hardening wax, and she says, No, the light should be like a snow shower. Mother, this is not my forte. Well, you can decorate a tree. I'm Jewish now. And it has been a long time since I decorated a Christmas tree. I do get the lights up eventually. It's late. My mother slowly and painfully makes her way upstairs to her bedroom. I get my daughter to bed upstairs. I join her. I can't sleep. 3 a.m. I go downstairs and I decorate the tree. I go back to bed. In the morning, my daughter and I come downstairs. My daughter spots the tree and she says, Mommy, who did this? Elves, I say. It was elves. I am surprised to see the dining room table set with linens, crystal, silver. My mother is in the kitchen, wearing a beautiful wine-colored pantsuit and a matching scarf. Her hair and makeup are perfect. She is wearing diamond rings and bracelets. She is concentrating on a recipe for rock Cornish hens. Without looking up, she says to me, I'm making brunch. Okay. I say I'm so relieved to see my mother capable and in charge, as she has always been, and as I always want her to be. My mother's best friends arrive, Dorothy and her husband Reginald. Dorothy looks ghastly. Obviously, the cancer has returned with a vengeance. Reginald is now completely doubled over from MS. They can barely walk but have just bought a new Lexus. Reginald says, "All I can say is thank God Bush is president and we're kicking butt." And we all sit down at the dining room table, and my mother says grace, thanking the Lord for the food that we will receive. And then she fills crystal goblets with red wine. She gets up, heads to the kitchen. I follow. Per her instructions, I begin to heat up frozen mixed vegetables in a pot while she arranges canned peaches and cottage cheese and lettuce leaves on salad plates and opens a package of store-bought biscuits. I think of the gourmet meals my mother once prepared. She opens the oven door to take out the raw Cornish hens, and I nearly gag. I see 6 tiny dead chickens in a roasting pan, pinkish purple skin. Did she cook them too long? Not enough? Not at all? I don't know. She seems to think they're fine. And so I scoop the 6 little corpses onto a silver tray, and I serve each of us a cold, bloody hen. I bring in the rest of the food as my mother sits down at the dining room table and holds court, ruminating on how the utter decline in manners in the adolescent of the current period is a harbinger of the decline of civilization. She used to be a high school English teacher. Her students were a disappointment. Eventually, I clear the table, I put most of the food in the trash, and out in the kitchen, I brew up a big pot of strong coffee. And from the freezer, I take out the little spheres of vanilla ice cream coated in coconut with the little red candles, snowballs, my mother calls them. I place the snowballs on the dessert plates and I light the candles, and the coffee and the dessert are so welcome. Later, the guests have gone. My daughter's watching a video. I'm washing the dishes. My mom's standing at the stove by the big pot, and she turns to me and she says, "Was dinner okay?" What? "I just wanted to know I could do it." You just need to know you can. You did a great job, Mom. My mother removes her diamond rings and bracelets and slowly dips her fingers into the hot wax.
Oh, wow.